Rainbow Rocks Beauty, and today's video is just going to be like a really pretty romantic purple but kind of intense smoky eye. So yeah, please enjoy this video. Thank you for watching and don't forget to subscribe. Start with a matte mauve eyeshadow. I'm using Makeup Geek Unexpected, and on a fluffy paddle-shaped brush, this one's the MAC 217, I'm just pushing this into my crease with very little product and very light-handedly, literally just holding the tip of my brush with my fingers and just creating that general crease shape. I do like to trace out my orbital bone rather than putting the product in my actual crease since I have hooded lids. This way the rounded shape makes my eyes look a little bit bigger and more doe-eyed and romantic. So again, I'm just placing the product really lightly there, and that's going to help the gradient from darker to lighter purples later. And as you can see, you can literally just map out the shape you want initially, and it's just going to make blending and placing product easier the whole way around. Next, take a skin tone eyeshadow, and I'm using Makeup Geek's Baby Face. And on a fluffy brush, just place this everywhere, all the way up to the brow bone, over your transition shade, on the lid, all over the place. And what this is going to do is set the eyeshadow base, and it's also just going to make this transition shade so incredibly smooth that it's going to blend into the skin, but the purple's still going to be there to be able to transition to the other purples later, if that makes sense. So circular motions with this color all over the place. The reason we were so light-handed with the mauve shade was so that when we do this step, it doesn't blend the mauve shade up too high. It's literally just muting it even more to make the blending better. So again, with the mauve shade though, on the same paddle brush, putting it in the same spot to make it more pigmented. And this way, it will just fade to where you put it before and just make that blend absolutely perfect, but still keep the pigmentation alive. So you're tracing out that rounded shape again. What I like to do is place some on the outer corner and inner corner and then connect them, and that's a really easy way to create that round shape and cheat it a little bit if you have hooded lids and you don't necessarily want to accentuate that your lids are hooded. Again, with the fluffy brush, I'm just blending that out again. I probably cut out like 5 minutes of blending in this whole tutorial. That's what makes this look so perfect though. That's what makes the cut crease look good, is having your transition shades and your crease blended out super smoothly and super diffused, and just having those purples blend into your skin perfectly. I use circular motions because I find that that really just picks up any excess product and moves it up, but doesn't pick up too much to where it blends it up too high. So you can really just use those circular motions and go to town blending this out and making those purples blend together and create a perfect transition. So next, take a lilac eyeshadow that's also matte. I'm using Makeup Geek Wisteria, which is like the best eyeshadow in the entire world. And on the same paddle shape brush, I'm doing the exact same thing with the mauve eyeshadow. You want to place it in your rounded shape, just slightly lower than the mauve eyeshadow, and this way, again, we're going to create that gradient from darker to lighter purples, but again, the same rounded shape with your paddle brush. And then just blend it out again. That's what makes this look so incredibly amazing. I can't stress it enough, is blending each and every step, tons of circular motions, making sure the purples fade into each other and then fade into skin at the end. You can take more of the skin tone shadow if you need to. I didn't feel that I needed to after that first color we laid down. So again, same step as before, pack on more of that lilac eyeshadow to get that pigmentation there, and it can blend up into itself because you already blended out one layer of it. And then just blend that again more lightly so that you can keep that pigmentation alive again, but make sure all the purples blend into each other, and make sure you can kind of see the layers too. You want to see the mauve, you want to see the lilac, and that way you have so much dimension. It's awesome. This step is optional, but I'm taking a cream eyeshadow that's the same like lilac color as before. This is ColourPop Daddy eyeshadow. And on a synthetic brush, I'm just placing this same shape, and I'm just going to bring some of that cool tone and pigmentation back into the look. That's why I did this, just because it helps make this like really bright and fun. But it is optional. You can just pack on that lilac eyeshadow that you have been using. That is totally cool too, because I am going to go back over with that eyeshadow to deepen it and like just make it super pigmented and kind of set that cream eyeshadow, so it really doesn't matter. But again, rounded shape and blend every single step of the way. Next, I'm taking Velour by Honeybee Gardens, which is just a deeper cool tone purple than what we've been using. Stay in the matte family though, of course. And on the same petal brush, use the same technique that you have been using this whole time. Just a little bit lower so that, again, that transition is super clear. And just place this below the other ones, create that rounded shape, and make sure to just blend as you're going sort of with the brush. Like, don't just pack it on there, kind of push it around so that it's easier when you go in with this fluffy brush again to blend everything together. And then with the darkest purple, I'm using Makeup Geek Drama Queen on a smaller brush. Use the same shape, just in a smaller area, like just lower than all the purples that you've been using so far, just like with every other step. So you create that rounded shape, place it carefully, make sure you don't go up too high. And then I'm blending it out with the paddle brush actually, because it has excess product from the purples we were using before. And so that's just gonna blend it out and make that transition like a really strong gradient, rather than just going straight in with the fluffy brush, and like that can kind of make the darkest shade take over. Whereas this way, you put on a little bit of your lighter purples, and then you're blending it all together, and your gradient's alive, and it's beautiful, and it's perfect, and it's amazing. So. Next, spray a wet product onto a flat brush. I'm using Ben Nye Liquid Set in a spray bottle, and dip it into your lid shade. I wanted to use Urban Decay Tonic because it has a duochrome, kind of like blue to purple effect. It's really frosty and it's just gonna look super pretty, but use whatever lid shade that you desire. Then just pack it onto the lid. And when you're tracing out that crease, you can kind of follow the shape that you were blending in before, since it's a fake shape basically and you're creating a fake crease. But it's higher on that center portion where you were kind of creating the roundness, and then you can kind of take it down to where your natural crease is. It's like overlining your lips, right? Like, you want to take it down to where it naturally kind of matches your, eye, but you are kind of rounding it out up where you were creating a fake thing, if that makes sense. And basically, I wet the tip of the brush kind of between steps and just pick up some eyeshadow, and I just really make those edges nice and sharp, and I make sure to do that all the way around the whole thing, and that's just what's going to make this cut crease look super duper dope. You just have to make sure you do it all the way around. And then I'm taking a shader brush with the dark purple again, and I'm just tracing around that, and that's essentially going to make it look like there's like a shadow around the lid shade and kind of like around the fake crease, and it's really going to take this look to the next level. So just place like a really light amount of product all around the entire rim of that lid, and then blend it out with a small fluffy brush this time, because if you use too big a fluffy brush, then it can kind of blend your lid shade and that dark shade together, and it can just make things look a hot mess. You want to keep your mattes and your shimmers separate for this. So again, blend it out with a fluffy brush all the way around, and then just sharpen up those edges a little more if you accidentally got some like dark purple onto the lid. I only had to do this step that you see here. I didn't have to do it more than once, like go back in with the dark or anything. This was perfect for me, and as you can see, it just creates that super awesome eye dimension. And then I'm just tight lining my upper waterline. That's the only eyeliner I'm going to do. For me, I just like this to add a little bit dimension, but I think this look can go without eyeliner. I think it looks good the way it is. And then just a little bit of mascara to prep for falsies. Make sure to hit every single lash so that the falsies have like a good coarse base to stick to. And then I put on a little bit of glitter. I kind of wish I hadn't though. All it did was make a mess and kind of make the lid look crunchy, so I would skip it if I were you. But this is the same glitter kind of shade as my lid shade, so it's Star and Moon by Hard Candy, and it's got that same duochrome effect. And I'm just cleaning up the glitter with this like little scrunchy thing from Lit Cosmetics. It doesn't work perfectly, but it's okay. And then I'm applying my falsies. But if you have, like natural full eyelashes and you don't need to apply these, then absolutely skip it. And then I'm taking my concealer. It's the Anastasia concealer in a jar, and it's in the shade 0.5. And I'm just placing this under my eyes. And then I'm actually using a damp beauty blender to blend it out. This was my first time, you're seeing it here, using a beauty blender, and it made the finish really pretty and really natural of my concealer, and it actually made my concealer look perfect. Like, it's definitely my favorite way to blend out concealer now, but I did use it on my foundation later, and I didn't like that as much. I felt it kind of shared it out too much. And then basically I'm going to take a shader brush and I'm going to literally go in order from darkest to lightest purples. The exact same purples and shades I used before. I'm just going to lay down the dark purple with the shader brush and trace out my lash line really tightly, and then take each purple one after another with the fluffy brush and blend that out until it creates the same gradient as what's on top. The lower lash line is like so much easier to blend out. You can just literally move the brush back and forth a couple of times and it usually blends it pretty seamlessly, just because there aren't as many natural imperfections and like indentations on the bottom lash line as there are in the crease. So you can just blend that across until it looks perfect. And then I'm taking tonic again, and I'm just placing that on my inner corner so that light can reflect off there and bring even more dimension and dewiness to this eye look. And make sure to connect it to the same shade that's on your lid so it doesn't look funky. And then apply your bottom mascara, and that will complete this look. I paired it with Kat Von D Aisha liquid lipstick because it's in the same kind of color family, cool tone purple as our lid shades and whatnot. And yeah, that is your romantic purple smoky eye. So please subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.